Your heart just stopped. No warning, no pain. 1 second it was beating, a rhythm that's been with you since before you were born. And the next, nothing. That's second zero. The instant your heart stops. And what happens in the 60 seconds after might be the strangest thing your brain has ever done, because the moment you die could be the moment your mind burns the brightest. Stay with me, because we're going through that minute second by second. And the story of a white cat that should be impossible is going to be hard to shake.
The first thing that happens when your heart stops is nothing. Nothing you'd feel. No jolt, no siren. Your blood pressure just falls off a cliff to zero. The 5 litres of blood that were racing through you a heartbeat ago are suddenly parked. No pump, no flow, nothing moving. And the wild part? Your brain has no clue. Not yet. For the first 10 seconds, it keeps running on the oxygen still left in your blood. Like a screen that stays lit for a second after you yank the power. Neurons keep firing. Whatever you were thinking, a word, a worry, a face, is still flickering. You are, in every way that matters, still you. But that window is slamming shut. 10 seconds. Your brain is the greediest organ you own. 1/5 of your oxygen goes to it. So it's the first to feel the deliveries stop. The cerebral cortex, the thinking surface of your mind, starts going quiet. From the outside, this is the moment you go under. Your eyes quit turning light into pictures. Your ears quit turning air into sound. To anyone in the room, you're gone. But the outside and the inside are about to tell completely different stories. The surge. In 2023, a University of Michigan neuroscientist named Jimo Borjigin published something that genuinely rattled her field. Her team watched the brains of 4 dying patients right after life support was removed, expecting the obvious, a slow dimming, a machine running out of battery. That's not what the monitors showed. In 2 of the 4, the instant the oxygen vanished, the brain didn't fade, it erupted. A violent spike of gamma waves tore across it. And gamma waves aren't background hum. They're the fingerprint of full consciousness, sharp awareness, memory, the texture of vivid dreams. It wasn't noise, it was organized, structured, and concentrated in one specific region, the temporoparietal occipital junction, an area older studies link to out-of-body sensations and the building of images. Borjigin's own description of the spike, crazy high, which leaves an uncomfortable question hanging over the data. What is a dying brain doing with a burst of consciousness-grade activity at the exact moment it's supposed to switch off? For a clue, we have to leave the lab. What the returners say. For as long as we've been able to pull people back from clinical death, the survivors return with stories that rhyme. A flood of light. The strange feeling of floating above your own body, watching the room. A calm so total it sounds almost suspicious. They say it's past anything words can hold. And then the famous part. Your life flashing before your eyes. Except the people who've actually lived it say we've got it backwards. It's not the trophies, not the wedding, not the graduation, not the big wins. It's the throwaway moments. Pedaling a bike down your street as a kid. A meal you'd long forgotten. A white cat on a staircase. That last one isn't a metaphor. A young man revived after his heart stopped described a white cat on a staircase during his life review and had no idea why. He couldn't place it. He'd never, as far as he knew, been in that building. After he recovered, he described it to his mother in detail. The staircase, the apartment layout, the cat. She went pale. They had lived there, next door to a neighbour with a white cat. He'd been 14 months old when they moved out, which forces a question neuroscience still can't answer. Is all of it still in there? Every face, every staircase, every ordinary afternoon filed away somewhere. And in that final surge, does the dying brain throw the whole archive open at once? Nobody knows. But the brainwave data is whispering that something far stranger than shutdown is going on. Now, back to the body. Because while the lights upstairs may be blazing, everything below is going dark. 30 seconds.
Half a minute in, your blood has stopped carrying oxygen anywhere at all, and your cells, all 37 trillion of them, start to notice. They flip to a backup generator, making energy without oxygen. It works, barely, but it leaves a mess,
lactic acid stacking up fast. Your muscles, cut off from a working brain, let go all at once. Your jaw slackens, your eyelids give up. If you were standing, you're already down. Your pupils spread wide and lock. The little muscles that tune them have quit. Your eyes are still flawless optical instruments. There's just, apparently, no one home behind them. Apparently, because here's where it turns strange a second time, the 40% problem. Dr. Sam Parnia, a resuscitation scientist at NYU, has spent over 2 decades chasing one question. What is consciousness doing during cardiac arrest? His AWARE studies are the largest ever run, hundreds of patients across dozens of hospitals, and the numbers are hard to wave away. In AWARE 2, published in 2023, about 40% of cardiac arrest survivors reported some awareness during the time they were clinically dead. Roughly 1 in 5 described what researchers now call a recalled experience of death. Coherent thoughts, clear memories, a real sense of being present. And about 3% reported the full thing, seeing and hearing in detail while their heart was stopped and the monitors showed nothing. And one detail surfaces again and again. They say they weren't alone. They describe someone waiting, a grandfather, a mother, someone already gone, there as if on purpose. Sometimes that figure tells them it isn't time. Sometimes it just leads them somewhere. A last merciful hallucination? Or something we don't have instruments for. Science hasn't closed that case. But here's what the data does say plainly. For most people, dying doesn't seem to hurt. It isn't dark. It isn't lonely. The word that keeps coming back is peaceful. Hold on to that. The clock's about to run out. 60 seconds, 1 minute in. The damage to your cells is now serious. But, and this matters more than almost anything else here, not yet permanent. This is the window. Right now, CPR could still work. A defibrillator could still catch. Starved of oxygen, your brain cells hold on for roughly 4 to 6 minutes before the damage locks in for good. So at the 1 minute mark, you're in a limbo no other moment in your life will match. Not alive in any way that counts, but not irreversibly gone either. Your temperature has barely moved. Your skin is just starting to pale as blood sinks from the surface. Inside your cells, enzymes that stayed locked behind membranes your entire life are beginning to leak out as the acid thins those walls. This is the faint first flicker of autolysis, self-digestion, your body beginning, gently, to take itself apart. But only just. At 60 seconds, almost all of you is still intact, still whole, still waiting. Waiting for what? There are 2 true answers. The medical one, oxygen. Restore the flow in the next few minutes and most of these cells switch back on. It's reversible. It happens in a hospital somewhere on Earth every single day. The other answer is harder to say out loud, because if no one comes, no compressions, no shock, no one, then that minute was the last one you'll ever have on this side of it. And everything we've learned says your brain didn't spend it powering down, it spent it lighting up. And so, the people who go all the way to that edge and get pulled back don't come home craving promotions or bigger houses. They come back starving for time, with the people they love, inside the small, unremarkable hours that never felt important. Because that's what the brain seems to keep, not the milestones, the Tuesday afternoons you were sure no one was recording. Your brain was recording all of them, and if the science is right, in your final minute, it might just press play.